What's going on, everybody? It's Alex Fishbein back again with another Fish's Friday rant. And I know I've been on a bit of a hiatus. You know, I was moving houses and everything. You know, finally settling down, getting myself a job, all that kind of stuff, all that weird stuff. You know, the adult stuff. So we are back one more time, and we're gonna talk about, obviously, some Olympic basketball. We're going to talk about Melo and his comments about, you know, being happy with his career if he had 3 gold medals. We're going to talk about LeBron's $100 million deal. And we're going to talk a little bit about, you know, super teams, non-super teams, and guys saying that they're going to come out of retirement. So let's start off with Team USA. Just today, they just barely squeaked one out against Serbia. Obviously, a much, much less talented team that they really shouldn't have had this much trouble with. And the thing is, that's also coming after them having trouble with Australia, which, while they're not, like, it wasn't that much of a surprise that they had a little bit of trouble with Australia, because Australia is a good team. They still have guys like Bogut, like Dellavedova, like Ingles, and so they have some NBA talent on there. And, you know, not just NBA talent, but guys who have at least been in the league a couple years, like minus Ingles. But, you know, Bogut and Dellavedova have been in the league for a few years now. They know what it's like to face these guys in NBA competition, and they know what they have to do to, you know, kind of rattle their cage and, you know, get them out of their game. So that wasn't exactly all that surprising that Australia pushed them to the brink a little bit. But the fact that Serbia pushed them to only like a 3-point win was very surprising. I mean, nobody was going to sit there and say, oh, you know, I think Serbia's the U.S.'s biggest threat in the Olympics. No, nobody was saying that at all about Serbia. Yes, Jokic is a great player, and he really showed like what kind of player he can be in this game. One big thing about Jokic, though, just going a little bit off to the side here, is just that Jokic really needs to add some strength to him. There's like, he has range, he can be trouble for the other team, but he's still going to have to add some I don't want to say weight, like he doesn't need to just bulk up. He needs to actually just get stronger. And whether that constitutes adding weight, losing weight, or just, you know, just turning the fat into muscle, whatever it may be, he just needs to get stronger. And, like, Jokic could be a serious problem for the league. But going back to Team USA, like, we watched their first game and it was like, okay, no one has any chance against Team USA. They're going to blow everybody out. They're winning the gold for sure. Australia comes around and we're like, okay, it was a little close. Australia was our biggest threat, you know, like them, France and Spain are the biggest. We're like, going into this, we're looked at as the biggest threats, and maybe Argentina as well. So they're like everyone's, you know, okay, that's fine. We're cool. We still beat them by, I think it was like 10. So, you know, there's still, we still had plenty of room in that. Yeah, we got a little bit of scare in there, but, you know, Kyrie, Melo, they helped us out, and we won the game. Now, you take in Serbia, and you add in the fact that the U.S. was up by a lot, and then add into that Serbia just mounted this huge comeback for 3 quarters, and you look at the score and realize they only won by 3 points. And so, like, at this point, it should be like, okay, the U.S. looks a little beatable, especially if these guys aren't making their shots. If only Kyrie and Melo are the ones showing up, you're going to have a little bit of an issue. I know that we do have the best players in the world here for Team USA, even without guys like LeBron, Kawhi, Steph Curry, and those guys. We still have some of the best players in the world. I understand that. But they're not playing like a team. Paul George even said it. If you check the Basketball Society Twitter, we posted the video. I think we might have posted on Instagram as well. I'm not sure, but check the Twitter at @BWallSociety_. And Paul George even said, you know, we're making it easy for people to defend us. Paul George is even saying, like, guys, we're an easy team to defend because every time they go down the court, it's pretty much just 1-on-5. And like at most it's been like 2-on-5. So obviously if, like Australia had that strategy where they were just trapping the first pass. So like, USA would just bring the ball up nonchalantly and give it to someone, and usually they clear out and let him work. Well, as soon as they pass that ball, bam, they're trapping him. And I remember seeing Durant just kind of throw a lazy pass, and it almost got stolen right at the end of the game. So obviously there's a lot of things that the USA needs to clean up here. There's a lot of things that they need to just straighten up and be like, hey, if we don't play like we're supposed to, we really can lose. Like, you can't have the same kind of cockiness and false confidence that the 2004 team had. Like, we watched what happened with them. We saw them lose and only get a bronze medal. Now, I know saying like only a bronze medal should be a little like alarming. Like, okay, that like only a bronze. A lot of people would feel lucky to get a bronze. But then you add in the fact that the U.S. has won gold in like every other Olympics for the last like 6 or 7 Olympics. So, like with these NBA players, obviously everyone can see that Team USA should be the best team there. And the thing is, a lot of those teams had the players like LeBron, like Jordan, like Steph Curry and Kobe and Dwayne Wade and those guys in their primes where they could do 1-on-5 and still win a game by themselves. But this team doesn't have that guy. They don't have that super generational kind of player that can be that like took his team by himself to a finals. Like there's nobody like that on this team right now. So they have to understand that if they're going to keep blowing teams out and if they're going to get through this like they should or like people expect them to, they're going to have to play more of a team style of ball and actually start moving the ball around instead of like I just watched today against Serbia. There was the one time where Kyrie had the ball at the top of the key and he waved Draymond off, so he didn't want the pick, so Draymond went down. All of a sudden, Draymond comes back up for another pick, and then Kyrie tries to go to the right, but he gets stopped. And then you can see him make like 3 consecutive moves where you knew he wanted to go left. Like, you can watch it plain on TV that you even knew Kyrie wanted to go left. And the defender knew that and just stayed there and just didn't let him go left. So then he went right into their defense and threw up a crazy layup that just bounced off the top of the backboard and didn't even hit the rim. So, like, you can't keep doing this if you're just going to keep throwing away the ball and throwing up crazy, stupid shots like that. Like, I know Kyrie is a great finisher at the rim with the kind of layups he does, and his handles usually get him there. But if you keep doing the same things, you become predictable. It's not rocket science. And then once you become predictable, they know different ways to defend it. So when they know different ways to defend it, you have stupid shots like the one that he produced at that given moment. So Team USA really needs to like get their, for lack of better terms, get their head out of their ass and play ball. Like they need to stop overthinking things. They need to just move without the ball, set some picks, find the open man. Like, it's really, when you break it down to that, it's really not that hard because really with Team USA, that's all you need to do. You don't need to run an elaborate offense. For Team USA, you have the firepower to just say, hey, get people open, find the open man, and give it to him and let him shoot. Or find a cutter or run the pick and roll or, like, it doesn't have to be that elaborate. It really doesn't. And I just also want to say, aside of this, I wrote a piece about the women's team and how they're dominating. I wrote that back on Wednesday. You can check that on our website, basketballsocietyonline.com. Shameless plug. I don't care. Anyway, I wrote about how the women's team is dominating. And there was a nice graphic that came out. I don't know when it was, but it was on Twitter. I know I retweeted it. But it was kind of showing the wins and everything, and wins and losses of the women's and men's teams throughout the Olympics and World Championships, and it showed that the women's team has only lost one game out of all of those. They have lost one game, whereas that 2004 U.S. team lost 3 in the same Olympics. So, like, we need to give a lot of credit to our women's team, because our women's team is out there just busting fools. Like, this women's team is out there just killing people. They won their first game by over 60 points. Over 60. That's ridiculous. And let's go on top of that. Diana Taurasi beat her own record for 3-pointers at a Olympics in 3 quarters. And then the next game she comes out and hits like 6 or 7 more threes. Diana Taurasi is a beast. I mean, you have 2 MVPs in Elena Delle Donne and Maya Moore, like MVPs of the WNBA on that team, and they're not even playing the most minutes. Think about that. Maya Moore and Elena Delle Donne have been 2 of the best women's players we've seen in like a while. And they're not even playing the most minutes on that team. You got Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi who are playing the most. And let me just say, Sue Bird is out there dishing assists after assist, and she only has 3 turnovers. She is like, I'm pretty sure I saw after their game that she had about 35, 36 assists and 3 turnovers. Like, you gotta give these girls props, man. And every time every time I gotta go on Twitter, and when they retweet these things, every time I gotta see stupid people saying, "Oh, get back in the kitchen. Oh, they don't care. Oh, women's sports. Blah blah blah." Shut the hell up. They could school you on the court easily, any day, any time. And if you even try to come out there and say like, "Hey, let's ball up," they'd probably laugh at you. Yeah, it's right. They would. I would too, because you're being dumb. Stop acting like we're in the 1920s where they thought women couldn't do anything. Anyway, let me get off that little rant there. That's why we call it Fish's Friday Rant. And let me just touch on LeBron getting this $100 million deal. Okay, so at first, I get the notification, and I pull up my phone, it buzzes, and I'm like, oh, 100 million. Oh. For how many years? Oh. This man's getting paid. And don't get me wrong, LeBron deserves it. He definitely deserves it. And we talk about him, kind of taking well, actually, we don't really talk about him taking a pay cut. We talk about Dwayne Wade taking a pay cut on Miami to bring in Bosh and LeBron. But LeBron's out there getting his, and I mean, why not? We always talk about all these guys giving up money to play with other superstars, but then there are so many people that say oh, why doesn't he just give up some money like Tim Duncan and get another superstar? And then they flip that around and they're like, but no, wait, screw super teams. That's cheap. LeBron's got to go, team up with people just to win. So why, let me just get this straight. You want him to take a pay cut so that he can play with Dwayne Wade again. When that whole thing came out that LeBron was he doesn't want to take a pay cut to play with Wade, and people are like, oh, that's messed up. Dwayne Wade took a pay cut, blah, blah, blah. So you're going to come out and say, oh, that's messed up. You're not going to take a pay cut. And then you're going to be like, but wait, LeBron, his stuff doesn't count because he always has to team up with people. What? Come on, man. Why, that's pretty much all the fair weather fans are they just say one, they're like Donald Trump. They say one thing and then they immediately flip to the other side, just like it's nothing. like, you can't just sit there and say that LeBron, you can't just sit there and say, oh, LeBron, take a pay cut, play with more people. But wait, no, your rings don't count because you're playing with more people. No, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't. And then going beyond that, so now we're hearing that like Emeka Okafor might make some kind of comeback. And then on top of that, we're hearing like Steven Jackson talking about, he's not going to try out for teams, but he's definitely going to get some calls because apparently he's the only two-way player in the entire league, as if like guys like Paul George and Kawhi Leonard don't exist. I don't even know. I don't know. And then Emeka Okafor, like, were teams really that concerned about him when he was in the league in the first place? Were they that like, oh my God, we got a game plan against this guy? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure they didn't. Like, they might have, like, when he first came in as a rookie and people, like, really thought highly of him, but then after he played a couple seasons, it was like, okay, this guy's just another player. So, I don't, your guess is as good as mine, but it just doesn't make sense. And on top of that, you got, like, just multiple people. I mean, you're still waiting on Ray Allen's decision to see if he's coming back or not and what team he's going to, because, we got tons of ring chasers now. It's just all these super teams and, like, this whole Golden State Warriors and Cleveland Cavaliers thing has just old players going, hey, let me come back and I can join them and maybe win a ring. But, like, when you come back, you're not contributing anything to the team, probably. They already have their, like, solid group of people that they need. They don't need Emeka Okafor to push them over the top. They don't need Steven Jackson to come in and give them a ring. They don't need Ray Allen is a different story, because if the guy can shoot, people will always take a shooter, especially in today's NBA. But the other two, I'm good. You guys can just stay at home. Sorry, not sorry. Don't really care. Whatever. Anyway, thank you guys for watching another episode of Fisch's Friday Rant. Make sure you check out our website, basketballsocietyonline.com. We are on Twitter at @bballsociety_. We are on Instagram at basketballsociety_. I am on Twitter and Instagram at thatkidfish. And, let us know what your thoughts are on these subjects. And, let me know what you think I should rant about next. So I will see you guys next time. Peace.